Okay, see the advantages of steam turbines over steam engines. Okay, advantages of steam turbines over steam engines. Okay, that means steam turbines also producing work output, steam engines also produces work output. Compared to these devices, these two devices, which device is best to deliver some quantity of work output? See, okay, the thermal efficiency is much higher. Okay, advantages of steam turbines over steam engines. Okay, the thermal efficiency of steam turbines is much higher, as there is no reciprocating parts. Perfect balancing is possible, and therefore heavy foundation is not required. There is no reciprocating parts, no number of moving parts required for the operating of the turbine wheel. Okay, generally we are using one rotor on the bearing. Okay, on the bearing is mounted on the shaft. Then we can easily eliminate the vibrations, okay, during the rotation of the wheel. Okay, if you use reciprocating type of arrangement like in steam engines, we cannot able to damp out the vibrations. Okay, we have to see the vibrations. Okay, because of reciprocating motion of the piston inside the engine cylinder. Okay, higher and greater range of speed is possible. Okay, by the use of reaction turbine, higher and greater range of speeds are possible. Okay, the lubrication is very simple, as there are no rubbing parts. Lubrication is very simple. Okay, the power generation at a uniform rate, and hence no flywheel is required. Okay, in case of steam engines, we are using the flywheel, and we are using the number of lubricants, and we are applying a different lubrication system. Okay, no need to adapt all those methods. Okay, in case of steam turbines. Okay, another advantages are steam consumption rate is lesser compared to the steam engine. Okay, steam consumption rate is lesser and more compact and require less attention during the operation. No need to use a skilled operator. Okay, more suitable for large power plants. We can produce more power output. We can deliver more work done from the turbine. Less maintenance cost, as construction and operation is highly simplified due to absence of parts like piston or piston rod, crosshead, connecting rod. All these parts are required for steam engine, for operating the steam engine. Okay, in case of steam turbine, no need to adapt these parts. Okay, next important topic is compounding. Compounding of the steam turbine. Okay, in case of compounding of steam turbine, okay, the power output of the steam turbine is available at the turbine shaft. Okay, am I right? Okay, power developed by the turbine is available at the turbine shaft. Okay, from the turbine shaft, we have to send that available power output to the required applications, to the power generation by the use of electrical generator, or to run another device with the help of mechanical power output. Okay, that power output from the turbine shaft continuously we have to receive, not suddenly. Okay, no need to interrupt that power output. Okay, we have to receive power output continuously from the shaft without interruption. Okay, for that purpose we are arranging the compounding. Okay, compounding means we are dividing the available energy at inlet to the turbine, and continuously we are delivering the power output without interruption, and we are operating the turbine shaft smoothly. Okay, for that reason we are arranging the compounding method. See the meaning of compounding. If high velocity of steam is allowed to flow through one row of moving blades, it produces a rotor speed of about 30,000 rpm, which is too high for practical use. Okay, the single pass of steam through the nozzles and through the moving blades and through a single stage Okay, that rotor shaft rotating at a 30,000 rpm speed. Okay, it is therefore essential to incorporate some improvements for practical use and also to achieve the high performance. You see, this is possible by making use of more than one set of nozzles. One set of nozzles and rotors in a series. Key to the shaft, so that either the steam pressure or the jet velocity is absorbed by the turbine is in stages. If you arrange the number of stages, then the available input energy to the shaft, available input energy to the turbine, also we can divide and we can continuously supply the available energy to the wheel. Then automatically we can get continuous power output from the shaft. Okay, this method is called compounding. Okay, compounding is we are arranging the stages. Simply we are arranging the stages. Single stage, multi-stage, like that we are arranging the number of stages and we are utilizing the available energy of the steam to the steam turbine in between the stages. In one stage we are getting some work output and that work output we are transmitting to the steam turbine shaft, and in second stage we are developing again some work output and we are transmitting to the turbine shaft. Like that we are using the number of stages and we are dividing the available energy in between the stages. Okay, that dividing of energy is called compounding. Compounding of the turbine. Okay, and we are dividing that energy based on three different compounding methods. Okay, we are using three different compounding methods. One is velocity compounding method, and second one is pressure compounding method, and third one is pressure and velocity compounding method. First one is velocity compounding method, second one is pressure compounding method, third one is pressure and velocity compounding method. Okay, in case of velocity compounding method, we are continuously developing the velocity and we are continuously utilizing and we are continuously supplying the available inlet velocity to the stages of the turbine. Okay, in first stage we have to supply velocity from the nozzle, and second stage also we have to arrange some nozzles, and later we are producing the continuous work output from the turbine shaft. Okay, in that manner we are dividing the available inlet velocity, available energy by means of velocity in between the stages, that is the velocity compounding method. Okay, in case of pressure compounding, we are dividing the pressure. We are dividing the pressure between the stages. Okay, available pressure energy of the steam we are dividing between the stages, and from the stage we are developing the power output. And in case of pressure and velocity compounding means we are arranging number of nozzles, number of fixed blades and moving blades. Pressure compounding is possible only by arranging the number of fixed blades and moving blades, and velocity compounding is only possible by arranging number of nozzles and moving blades, like that we have to arrange different stages during the flow of steam between the stages. Okay, see first one, velocity compounding method. First one is velocity compounding method. Okay, in case of velocity compounding method, from the diagram also you can clearly observe. Okay, from the boiler we are introducing the steam into the nozzle body, and during the conversion of pressure energy into kinetic energy, high velocity steam strikes the blades of the turbine. Okay, on the periphery of the rotor we are arranging the number of moving blades. Okay, during the flow of high velocity steam through the blades, some energy conservation takes place. See here, the pressure energy in the nozzle bodies decreases. Pressure energy inside the nozzle body decreases, and the pressure energy is converting into kinetic energy. That means velocity increases. Velocity is increases. And later in the moving blades, okay, the increased velocity is observed in one stage. Increased velocity is observed in one stage, and later in fixed blades it is constant. Velocity is constant in the fixed blades, and later in moving blades velocity is observed. Like that we are arranging the number of stages. Okay, in that manner we are dividing the available inlet velocity between the stages. See here in the moving blades we are utilizing the energy of the steam by means of kinetic energy. We are striking the blades of the impulse turbine. Okay, the blades are mounting on the rotor periphery, and in the fixed blades, okay, the velocity is constant, and in moving blades again we are utilizing that energy in the second stage. Okay, see this is one stage, nozzle, moving blade and fixed blade. This is one stage. Again moving blades and fixed blades, like that we are arranging the number of stages of a turbine. Okay, in that manner we are dividing the available velocity in between the stages. That is the meaning of velocity compounding method. Let us see the explanation of velocity compounding method. You can clearly understood by these points. Okay, it consists of a set of nozzles. Okay, we are arranging the number of nozzles and a few rows of moving blades which are fixed to the shaft, and rows of fixed blades which are attached to the casing. Okay, on the casing we are arranging the rotor, and on the periphery of the rotor we are arranging the number of blades. Okay, and set of nozzles we are using in order to introduce high velocities jet of steam. Okay, as shown in the figure in the previous slide, okay, the two rows of moving blades are separated by a row of fixed blades. Okay, you can clearly observe, okay, the row of fixed blades are separating these two rows of moving blades. Okay, the high velocity steam first enters the first row of moving blades, where some portion of velocity is observed. You can clearly observe that. Okay, some portion of velocity is observed in the first row of moving blades. Okay, while passing the steam through the fixed blades, the velocity is not observed, and in the second row of moving blades absorbing the remaining velocity. Okay, then it enters the ring of fixed blades, where the direction of steam is changed to suit the second ring of moving blades. Okay, see here only fixed blades we are using for directing the steam, and moving blades we are using for absorbing the kinetic energy and to deliver some quantity of work output on the shaft. There is no change in the velocity as the steam overs the fixed blades. Okay, there is no change. We cannot observe any change during the flow of steam over the fixed blades. Okay, over the moving blades we can observe a change. Why? Because okay, moving blades absorbing the available energy and converting that absorbed energy into work output. Okay, the steam then passes on the second row of moving blades, where the velocity is further reduced. Thus a fall in the velocity occurs when the steam passes over the row of moving blades. Steam thus leaves the turbine with a low velocity. After utilizing the available energy by means of kinetic energy, okay, after utilizing the total velocity, inlet velocity of the steam, okay, at exit we are expecting the very low velocity. The variation of pressure and velocity of steam as it passes over the moving and fixed blades can shown in the figure. Okay, in this figure also the pressure variation is constant and velocity variation also you can see. Okay, you have to write by seeing this diagram. Okay, velocity increases while steam passing through the nozzles and pressure decreases. And later velocity is absorbed in the moving blades and velocity is constant in the fixed blades. Later velocity is absorbed in the moving blades. Later it is exit as a low velocity. And pressure remains constant over the fixed blades and moving blades. Only pressure changes we can observe while passing through the nozzles. In case of velocity compounding method, Okay, the pressure changes are occurs only in the nozzles. Okay, velocity changes are occurs only in the moving blades. Okay, velocity changes are constant in the fixed blades, and velocity changes are varying in the on the moving blades. These points you have to write while explanation. Okay, next method is pressure compounding method. Okay, in case of pressure compounding method, okay, see the variation of energy variations on the pressure compounding. See the diagram itself shows the variation of energies. Okay, pressure entering into the steam turbine. Okay, see we are arranging the set of nozzles, and the pressure is decreases. Okay, this is the pressure line. Pressure is decreases. In the nozzles, pressure is decreases. What about the velocity? Velocity is increasing. Velocity and pressure are proportionately increases in the nozzle body. If the pressure decreases, velocity increases. That is the function of nozzle. Pressure energy is converting into kinetic energy. Okay, so velocity increases. Okay, later moving blades. In the moving blades, energy is absorbed in the moving blades. Later, it is enters into the nozzle body. Velocity increases again, and velocity is absorbed in the moving blades. And at exit, we are expecting the low velocity. Continuously, we are absorbing the velocity in the blades. While passing the steam through the blades, okay, the velocity is absorbed, and while passing through the nozzles, okay, velocity is increases. Okay, in that manner, we are arranging the pressure compounding. Okay, see, in case of pressure compounding, you can observe the pressure line also. Okay, the pressure decreases in the nozzle, and pressure is constant in the blades, and pressure is decreasing in the nozzles and constant over the blades. Okay, these changes you can easily observe from the diagram itself. Okay, in case of pressure, in case of velocity in the nozzles, okay, the pressure energy is decreases, and over the moving blades it is constant, and in the nozzles pressure is decreases, and on the blades it is constant. Compounding, okay, see, this is the pressure line. Okay, in the nozzle pressure decreases, and the steam passing over the blades, the pressure is constant, and while passing through the nozzle, pressure is decreases, and while passing through the blades, pressure is constant. And in case of velocity, okay, see, this is the inlet velocity of steam while entering into the casing of the turbine, and velocity increases. Initially, the velocity increases in the nozzle body. That means this pressure energy is converting into kinetic energy. Later, over the blade, it is absorbed. Okay, velocity is absorbed by the blades. That means, okay, these blades transmitting that absorbed energy to the shaft, and that shaft delivers some quantity of work output. And later, in the next set of nozzles, okay, see, the pressure energy is decreases, and similarly, the velocity is increases. Later, on the blades, velocity is absorbed by the blades and transmitting to the shaft, and pressure is constant. Okay, at the exit, we are getting low pressure and low velocity. Okay, in case of pressure compounding method, we are arranging this series of stages. Okay, in nozzles, always pressure energy is converting into kinetic energy, and high velocity is developed in the nozzle body, and while passing through the blades, that velocity is absorbed by the blades, and pressure energy is decreases, and in the next set of nozzles, also velocity increases, pressure decreases, and velocity is absorbed by the blades, and over the blades pressure energy is constant. Okay, in that manner you have to explain the pressure compounding method. Okay, in this pressure compounding method, we are dividing the available pressure at the inlet between the stages of the turbine in order to produce continuous power output. Okay, in that manner we are arranging the number of stages of a turbine. Okay, in case of pressure compounding method, we are using the available pressure between the stages of the turbine. Okay, next, see the explanation of the pressure compounding method. You can easily explain by seeing the diagram itself. It consists of a number of fixed nozzles which are incorporated between the ring of moving blades. We are arranging the number of fixed nozzles between the number of moving blades. Okay, the moving blades are key to the shaft. Okay, if the high velocity jet of steam is striking the moving blades, then automatically the work is done by the shaft. Okay, here the pressure drop is done in a number of stages. Each stage consists of a set of nozzles and a ring of moving blades. In one stage consists of a set of nozzles and moving blades. In case of previous velocity compounding method, it consists of single stage consists of a nozzle, fixed blade and moving blade. In case of pressure compounding method, it consists of a nozzle and moving blades only. No need to use fixed blades. Steam from the boiler passes through the first set of nozzles where it expands partially. Later it is absorbed by the moving blades in the first stage. In first set, we are having nozzle and moving blade. While the pressure of steam from the boiler we are introducing into the nozzle, that pressure energy is converting into kinetic energy in the nozzle body, and later that high velocity is absorbed in the moving blades, we are producing the work output. Again we are arranging the nozzle in the next stage, and again we are arranging the moving blades in the next stage. Like that we are arranging the number of stages of a turbine. Okay, between the stages only we are utilizing the available energy. That is the meaning of compounding of the turbine. Okay, in case of pressure compounding, we are dividing the available inlet pressure between the stages of a turbine. Okay, that is the meaning of pressure compounding. For that, we are arranging the number of fixed nozzles and number of moving blades on the shaft. Okay, it is further passed to the second set of fixed nozzles. Okay, second set of fixed nozzles also absorbing the pressure energy at the second time, where it is partially expanded again, and again we are developing the velocity. That velocity is absorbed in the moving blades, and velocity of steam is almost absorbed in the second set, and this process is repeated. Steam leaves at condenser pressure. Okay, generally we are operating the steam power plant between the two pressure limits. One is boiler pressure limit and second one is condenser pressure limit. Up to the condenser pressure limit, we have to make the pressure drop inside the turbine itself. Okay, during the expansion of steam inside the turbine, okay, the pressure drop occurs. The pressure drop is equal to the condenser pressure. Okay, we have to arrange a number of stages in order to absorb the available pressure energy in order to reduce the pressure up to the condenser pressure limit. Okay, in case of pressure compounding method, we have to arrange a number of series of nozzles and moving blades in order to reduce the available pressure energy up to the condenser pressure limit. Okay, by reducing the pressure in the stages, velocity of steam entering the moving blades is considerably reduced, and hence the speed of the rotor is reduced, and repeat. Hence the speed of the rotor is also reduced. That means reduced means it is not stopping. Okay, reduced means continuously we are receiving the power output. Okay, not suddenly, not totally, not at single time. Okay, we are continuously receiving the power output. See the examples of pressure compounding impulse turbines are. These are the two examples of pressure compounding type of impulse turbines. Okay, see the last one. Pressure and velocity compounding method. Okay, in case of pressure and velocity compounding method also, we are arranging the number of nozzles, number of fixed blades, and number of moving blades in series. Okay, in case of velocity compounding method, only we are arranging nozzle and fixed blades and moving blades. In case of pressure compounding method, we are arranging number of nozzles, moving blades, and nozzles, moving blades, like that. We are arranging the set of blades and nozzles. Okay, this is velocity compounding method. This is pressure compounding method. Combinedly, we are adding velocity and pressure by means of nozzles and moving blades. See, nozzles, moving blades, and fixed blades. Again, moving blades, and again nozzles, again moving blades, fixed blades, again moving blades. Okay, in that manner we are reducing the speed of the rotor according to our power limit, according to our reasonable practical rotating speed of the shaft. Okay, see the pressure range, the inlet pressure range. Okay, in the nozzle section the pressure decreases, and in the moving blades the pressure energy is constant, and in fixed blades pressure energy is constant, and in nozzles only the pressure energy is decreases. Okay, see this is one stage. Nozzles, moving blades, fixed blades, and moving blades. That is one stage. And second stage is again nozzles, and fixed blades, moving blades, and moving blades. That is the second stage. Okay, here I illustrated the two stage pressure compounding impulse turbine. Okay, in case of velocity, nozzle body velocity increases, and in moving blades velocity is observed, and fixed blades it is directed, and in moving blades again it is observed, and in nozzles again the pressure energy is converting into kinetic energy. That means velocity is increases, and in moving blades it is observed, and in fixed blades it is directed only, and in moving blades it is observed, and at exit we are getting the lower velocity of steam. Okay, in that manner we are seeing the pressure and velocity changes during the flow of steam between the stages of a impulse turbine. We are arranging the number of stages in order to utilize effectively available inlet energy of the steam turbine, and in order to reduce the inlet pressure to the condenser pressure limit, we have to arrange the number of stages of the turbine. Okay. The explanation also you can easily write by seeing the diagram itself. Okay, in this method, compounding of both pressure and velocity is done in the pressure and velocity compounding method. Okay, in pressure and velocity compounding method, we are compounding the pressure and velocity. That means we are dividing the pressure and we are dividing the velocity. Okay, that means pressure energy is dividing in the nozzles. That means at every nozzle we are getting the velocity, and that velocity, developed velocity is observed in the moving blades. Okay, the total drop in steam pressure is carried out in two stages, and the velocity obtained in each stage is also compounded. Okay, each stage velocity is also compounded. Okay, the ring of nozzles are fixed at the beginning of each stage, and pressure remains constant during each stage. Okay, that also you can see in the diagram itself. Okay, the pressure energy is constant in each stage. Say this is the pressure energy. Pressure energy is constant, and velocity is increases. Okay, in the nozzles only, and velocity is observed in the moving blades. Okay, from the diagram itself also you can write the explanation. Okay, see the reaction turbine. Okay, up to now we seen only the impulse turbine. Okay, what are the mechanical details of the impulse turbine, and how we are receiving the power output from the impulse turbine. Okay, impulse turbine means we are arranging one rotor on the shaft of the impulse turbine, and that rotor is keyed to the shaft, and over the periphery of the rotor we are arranging the number of moving blades, and we are arranging number of set of nozzles in the casing of the turbine, and through the nozzle we are introducing the steam from the boiler, and while passing the steam through the nozzle is converting pressure energy of steam into kinetic energy, and high velocity steam strikes the blades of the rotor, and the rotor is rotating on the bearing of the shaft. Okay, in that manner we are producing the work from the impulse turbine. Okay, in case of reaction turbine, we are arranging the fixed blades and moving blades. Okay, and we are not using any nozzles. We are not using any nozzles in case of reaction turbine. Okay, only we are using fixed blades and moving blades. Okay, with the help of fixed blades and moving blades, okay, we have to develop work output, and we have to develop reaction force. Okay, the fixed blades are itself acting as a nozzles in case of reaction turbine. Okay, a turbine in which steam pressure decreases gradually while expanding through the moving blades as well as fixed blades is known as reaction turbine. In fixed blades and moving blades, the reaction takes place. That's why it is called reaction turbine. The pressure drop takes place in moving blades and fixed blades. Both blades are acting as a nozzle also. Nozzle function is carried by the blades also. It consists of a large number of stages. Each stage consists of set of fixed and moving blades. The heat drop takes place throughout in both fixed and moving blades. No nozzles are provided in the reaction turbine. And the fixed blades act both nozzles, in which velocity of steam increases and direct the steam to enter the ring of moving blades, as pressure drop takes place both in fixed and moving blades. That is the main difference between the reaction turbine and impulse turbine. Pressure drop occurs in case of impulse turbine only in the nozzles. In case of reaction turbine, the pressure drop occurs in the fixed blades as well as moving blades. The steam expands while flowing over the moving blades, thus gives the reaction to the moving blades. Hence, the turbine is called reaction turbine. The fixed blades are attached to the casing, whereas moving blades are attached to the rotor. The moving blades we are arranging on the rotor, rotor is mounting on the shaft. Okay? While passing the steam through the fixed blades, the fixed blades absorbing the pressure energy and develops the kinetic energy, and reaction blades reaction force produces, and while passing the moving blades also develop some velocity with the help of the velocities from the fixed blades and moving blades. We are getting the higher velocity. It is also called Parsons reaction turbine. Okay, next class we will say how to we produce the power output from the reaction turbine. Okay, up to now we seen what are the mechanical details of the impulse turbine, and how do we develop power output from the impulse turbine, and what are the necessary components, necessary elements of the impulse turbine, and how do we calculate work done from the impulse turbine by seeing the combined velocity triangle, and what is the compounding of the turbine. We are arranging the pressure compounding and velocity compounding, and pressure and velocity compounding for the impulse turbine. And similarly for the reaction turbine also, we have to draw the combined velocity triangle. Based on the combined velocity triangle, we have to evaluate the work done by the reaction turbine, and efficiency of the reaction turbine also we can easily evaluate, and compounding of the reaction turbine also we have to see. Okay, and these topics we will continue in the next session. Okay, thank you.